1 o'clock, are we good?
We'll go.
All right, everybody. Otherwise, the agenda is as stated, and therefore our next item is the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand and address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we will now do a roll call. Director Zook.
Here.
Director Shoemaker.
Here.
Director Stevens.
Here.
Director Kelly.
Here.
Ex officio Snyder is here. And chair is also present. We have a quorum. So before public input, I would like to read a brief announcement. We at the Sun River Service District are saddened by the recent passing of Doug Cedar, a key volunteer and contributor to Sun River. Doug was instrumental in the formation of the district in 2002 and was an early managing board member. He continued his service as a member of the Civil Service Commission, responsible for establishing and enforcing rules for civil service and ensuring fair and impartial treatment of employees, among other things. Doug was also a longtime key member of the Sun River Citizen Patrol and led the traffic safety of many activities for Sun River, such as the Pacific Crest Sports Weekend, Auto Run, and our recent Oktoberfest run. He was often on patrol with other CP members, ensuring that our pathways and residences were safe. Last year, in recognition of all the volunteers that helped the service district function, but especially in the light of his many contributions, the new public safety building's public training and conference area was officially named Doug Cedar Hall. The district will continue to honor Doug's contributions by continuing to faithfully and joyfully protect the citizens of Sun River. We honor the contributions of all of our volunteers and could not function without their help. Doug's contributions exemplify this, and we will greatly miss him. All right, at this time, I will accept any public input. I believe we had somebody submitted for public input.
Debbie did.
Ms. Baker, how are you?
Thanks.
Okay.
I feel sad about Doug's passing. He was,
He was.
ever since I moved here, he was one of the first people I got to get to know about the district, gave me a lot of history. So cheers to him, and I'm very sad. So I am here to talk about the fire collective bargaining unit or our bargaining agreement. And it's great that it's settled. It's always a good thing. I've been involved in collective bargaining many times, and I know how hard it is sometimes. So big up for that. I was hopeful that this board would share with the public the impact of the agreement, which would be not only the cost of living increases, but also all the other incentives that were incorporated into the contract. So under transparency to the community, I would encourage, if that's not going to happen today, that you are able to do that and put that into a succinct report back to the public. So I did take a look at the contract. What I did is just kind of a high level, take a look at the, no, I don't think I brought enough. Maybe you guys could share. High level impact.
Make sure Mindy has one for the record.
Yeah, you can share. And at the budget. So I just took a look at the captain's, fire captain's wages. And so in doing so, and adding in the incentives, the old ones plus the new ones, I'll give you a copy here. You're about $50,000 short of what you budgeted for this line item, and that's just for the captains. And so I have a couple questions for the board. You know, what is the total impact of the fire collective bargaining agreement? And as happened in the past, usually the first one to settle, those benefits get given to the rest of the district employees. So there will be a greater impact as well. And so what does this do to the budget and to the future financial stability? I've talked about this, as you know, many times, and I am concerned. And I know that part of the strategic plan, you have some things in there, but still we're going backwards. And so if you look at your surplus of revenue over expenses for this budget year is $16,000. And just with the captains, you're 50 down. So if you extrapolate that to the rest of the district, it's gonna be 200, 250, 300, $400,000 for it. So, what has happened in the past is we had salary savings, which are all fully staffed, which is a good thing. And whether or not that's gonna happen this year as well. So just a reminder that this is a big deal. And I would like the board to be more transparent and talk about the impact of this collective bargaining agreement on the finances. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
And just as a comment, I had started working on the financial impact because you had said that you wanted to request that. I didn't get it to a level where I was comfortable bringing it to the board today. As we elect our treasurer for the year, I will work with him or her or him to understand what that impact is, make sure that we have it, and it will be reported at a future meeting. There also is a budget adjustment that we know we need to take to the county for that. And as the mid-year budget adjustment schedule gets set by the county, we will bring that to the board before we come in. So the intent
during collective bargaining that the proposals have an impact attached to them. So before signing the agreement, I would expect you to know that.
That's fair. Thank you.
That's been my experience is, okay, what is this going to cost us? Can we do it? And can we come to an agreement? So, good job on settling. I think that's important.
All right. Thank you. Is there other public input today? Is there any public input online?
And I would just like to request, Chair, since there was a change in the Teams link, if someone does come online a little later, may want to do public comment that we
would certainly allow that, yes. All right, thank you. At this point, we'll move on to item 1, the consent agenda. We have one item in the consent agenda, which is our September 18, 2025 regular board meeting minutes, and we either did not have or did not get a Sun River bill.
Now the threshold's higher, we were able just to pay that through regular AP.
Good point, thank you. All right, so we have one item on the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion.
Motion to adopt the minutes from September 18th.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Zook? Yep. Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens? Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. All right, we're on to item number 2, old business, public safety building. Doug Nelson, thank you for joining. We understand you can't be in the room here today. I will let you take it away with a summary.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Good. All right. I've got just 4 quick items to go through today. Number 1, I think everybody's aware that the Kirby team has been out actively trying to get through their list of items. And then what I have also done in conjunction with that is given our 11-month warranty program issued notice of that as well to our whole team. So we'll take care of all those and get those wrapped up before the end of the year. Is there any questions on that?
Just how do you think progress is going? Are you optimistic that they'll have it done before the walkthrough?
I'm hoping so. That was the impetus behind that notice. And the only thing that's going to be outstanding is unfortunately, the HVAC revisions in the renovation side of the fire department. So Chief Booz, when I get back in town, I'll enlighten you on where we're at with that. Okay, item number 2, we received a draft of the south apron design, and I was gonna go through that with staff next week. It falls short on the paving side just a little bit. It doesn't bring it up to the existing concrete, so we need to go through those items and just review and get a good grip on what we want for curbs around that. Item number 3 is what we need to commit new costs to. Number 1 would be the apparatus bay exhaust system. We finally got those final numbers in from the Kirby team. Now the total cost for just the Kirby side is $67,106.92, but that does not include the actual installation of the transmitters in the vehicles, which the Kirby folks won't touch because of the insurance issues. So we'll have to go direct with the vendor there. So I'm going to expand the ask to $72,000 just to cover the installation of those transmitters in the vehicles. And number 2 on the committed costs are, we've got some quotes in from our blinds folks and some door film for the interior doors. And the total of that was $22.31. Sorry, that wasn't on my report. We just got those in earlier this week. And thanks, Chief Boost, for chasing those down.
So 2,231, and is that a firm bid or is that a estimate?
Those are quotes, $22.31 and 29 cents.
Okay. So the habit of the board is to because these are new costs that are being incurred, is to approve that the district authorize those costs from 717. We do have a surplus in 717 right now. The blinds is a nice to have, but pretty necessary for some of the things that we're doing. The apparatus bay is a necessary. And then, Doug, I believe that there are some things that we might have a discussion on and choose to later take back to design, engineering, and construction for potential settlement, correct?
Yeah, this would be one of those, the exhaust.
Right. So we are approving a cost, but that's not to say that we're not going to go back and try and recoup some of that cost based on the design parameters.
That's correct. Just so everybody knows that the warranty letter that I sent out to the KMB team, it's been radio silent from them. So for the 11-month warranty, which is in their contract to perform. So I'll keep you updated on that.
Okay. Additional questions before we go to motions? All right, let's break it into two. I have we would need a motion to approve the blinds estimate of
2231.
Yeah, 2231.29, I believe. So I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Zook,
Yes.
Director Shoemaker,
Yes.
Director Stevens,
Yes.
Director Kelly.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. And then second, probably it sounds to be, it would be a not to exceed 72,000 on fixes to the apparatus bay exhaust system.
That's correct.
I would entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion?
I have a question.
Sure.
So Doug, is that part of the budgeted money for the construction line item? Is that where that would be coming out of?
Correct.
So it was already budgeted in that 140,000, the 72,000.
I'm
No.
following your math right there. This is an addition to.
Yeah, this would be in addition. This would require, this is one of the things that will need to go in for budget adjustment. We also, if you recall, the 140,000 is for the construction, was not for the design, because the design was supposed to be done in the last fiscal year. So there's a budget adjustment for that as well.
Okay, so Doug, I really need that breakdown of what you're expecting for the rest of the year from last month, what we talked about, because right now the budget, you know, when we keep doing these add-ons, like they're approving you to move forward with that, the budget doesn't reflect that. So I need to get a budget adjustment ready if we know that we're going to be spending more than that.
Okay, can we discuss that next week when I get back in town?
Yeah, and the target, I believe, for the budget adjustment is going to be in December. So we probably need to have our best estimate for November's meeting so that we can discuss and approve it before we move it forward to the county.
Yeah,
Because I don't know when they're going to do their mid-year. I mean, they might push it to January, but I don't want to assume that.
well, and it's best practice to not be spending outside that budget line item if we know we're going to do it. So that's why I need you to give me that data so that I can do a budget adjustment at any time. So that we're not overextending line items.
Well, and I want to be done with this as soon as possible too. I mean, we should have identified the items that we need to finish. And I want to make sure that those are identified and that we've got them on schedule to finish. And then that's going to give us more insight leading into the fiscal 27 budget that we're going to need anyway. So yeah, we need to wrap this up fairly soon. And then we also need to get it moved into the organization. It's we love you, Doug. We know you've got other stuff to do, so we want to give you the ability to do that. All right, we do have a motion and a second on the table. I will call for the vote. Director Zook?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. And then Doug, we've got the September funding. Is there anything that you want to say about that? It's $8,023.37 is what I see in our packet.
No, that's it in total. It's the final bill for Day Wireless to install the radio for Rod, the fireside. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at with this month. If I could also go back and if you can sign that PCO, that would be awesome. I can get that over to the Kirby folks.
I'll make sure that happens.
All right.
All right, so there's a motion on the table to approve the September 2025 funding in the amount of $8,023.37. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
I got a question. Did you say 8022?
8023.37.
Oh, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Doug, there was a question earlier, and you don't have to be real detailed on it in the future, but especially now that you're hourly, as you submit your hourlies, it would be useful to understand. We see how many hours a week you're working, and those track with what we're seeing. But it would be a good idea, just as a percentage of hours, what you're spending on working with Kirby, finishing things up, doing paperwork, et cetera. So just kind of give us a breakdown. You don't have to go back and do it, but it would be nice to see it done in the future.
Right. Yeah. You'll notice I've been carrying the additional closeout, the Kirby stuff, on its own separate line item, and then I've been tracking the South Apron and the SROA final on another line item. So
Oh, okay.
I can go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe one more level of detail on the closeout, and we're good from there.
Okay. Good.
All right. Thank you all. We'll call for the vote. Director Zook?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. And then item number 3 is, I'm sorry, Doug, anything else on the building we want to discuss?
Not unless you guys have any more questions.
Okay, and then item number 3 is just an update on the status of the SSD reserve study. I think the app bay was one of the last things that we were looking for cost-wise so that we could get that data over to the reservists, correct?
That is correct. I can fill out that final sheet from that Mindy has.
All right, yeah, let's try and get that to them and have them acknowledge before our next board meeting that they're working on it. I don't know how long it's going to take them once we get them the data. But I know you'll be back next week, so let's try and button that up as well.
All right.
All right. Unless you have anything else, you can move on to your other project.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 4, we are to monthly chief and administrators reports in the round robin. We are at police first, so I will turn it over to Chief Rassick.
Good afternoon, everybody. Starting with the calls for service for September 2025, we're going to stick with the trend that we saw throughout summer 2025, that the calls for service are up quite a bit over the previous year, and that again is largely due to the self-initiated activity. It was interesting that the traffic stops were down, but I think that you're going to see the majority of that increase is due to the community policing contacts and security checks. Also sticking with the trend of summer 2025 is the reported crime is down, which is always a good thing. 71 calls for service generated in Caldera and Crosswater, which is about 3 times what we would normally see for a month. And that certainly is going to be, the Sheriff's Department is spending a lot of time up there right now. They're doing a lot of self-initiated activity and security checks. Sun River is also over there quite a bit with some self-initiated activity. Of the calls for service that came in, you saw the traffic stop. There was an individual contact. There was a couple of animal calls. Nothing really that stands out from what we wouldn't normally see over there in those 2 neighborhoods. But word on the street, yes, the Sheriff's Department, as we were well aware, and to be expected, is spending a lot more time up there, paying them a little more attention.
I do not mind seeing more patrol cars in the area. I don't care what color they are.
Yeah, I agree. I met with the sheriff last week, and that was the conversation we had. And I made it very clear to him that, regardless of who it is, having additional deputies, police officers, whatever it might be in this area of the county is always welcome. And I made sure to let him know that if his deputies needed anything in this building, that they are welcome to it. But again, yes, there's quite a bit going on across the street over there. I'd like to highlight the job that our bike patrol did. We have wrapped up all of our operations for the summer and our summer bike patrol. Nearly 8,000 contacts between the 6 of them. I think that they really set the high water mark, and they should be commended. And you know, when we think about, or I think quite often a lot of people, when they think about the bike patrol, they think about ambassadors to the community, which certainly they are. They think about pathway safety, which they certainly do. But I'd like to bring your attention to bike collisions and missing persons. Quite often, they're the first people out there who respond on those. So they play a really important part of how we operate in the summer months. And again, I think that they kind of set the standard. I'm really, really proud of how they did. I think that Corporal Van Meter, who recruited all of them, should be commended, and our CSO Steinbrecher and Sergeant Davis, who took care of supervising them throughout the summer, should also be commended. I think that they really did a fantastic job. Our citizen patrol keeps pushing forward through the month of September with 114 biking miles, 75 public assists, and 136.5 service hours to the community. Really impressive stuff. As far as the administrative updates, I had the opportunity to sit down and meet with Flock a couple times to renegotiate some contract prices moving forward for 25, 26, and 26, 27. Was able to bring the price down in each of those contract years a little bit. Got to sit through a couple of meetings, planning meetings for Oktoberfest, which my understanding is went really quite well. There were no problems reported. Also attended SRO meeting with Chair Pfister to keep them informed on the conversations regarding the service district expansion, and was there to answer questions for them. Again, now operations, again, as I just mentioned, we wrapped up the seasonal bike patrol. On September 27th was the last day we had them in here. And a note that's not here, as far as operations, I don't know that everybody has been made aware, but Sergeant Davis and Officer Mann are going to be leaving us. They have taken assignments with the Sheriff's Department. And again, they will be missed. They were great additions to the police department. But I have already made plans working with Sergeant Beck. We have already made plans moving forward. We've restaffed the different teams to address any shortages we might have, and have initiated the discussions with Administrator Holliday on recruiting and moving forward to make sure that we get those positions filled as soon as possible.
Do we still have anyone in the queue from our last round of interviews?
Lists are expired.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Each of those, we have received additional interests periodically, and everybody will be reached out to.
Okay.
And then the community events. Officer Allen and I were out to Three River School for the first day of school. I love doing that. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, we continue with our station tours. And I believe that's it for your update from the police department, unless there's any questions.
Questions for Chief Rassick? One I had was, do you think we're going to have any returnees on bike patrol next year? Or are you optimistic?
I had the opportunity to speak to most of them on their way out the door. Two of them said they will be returning. Some of them will absolutely not be returning, simply because they're kind of aging out and are moving to other things.
Right.
I'm hoping to get at least a couple of them.
Okay. Additional questions? All right, thank you, Chief. We will turn to Administrator Holliday for her report.
Thanks, Chair. So to break it out, so the financial portion, just finishing up with the auditors. I was hoping to hear by now that they've completed it, but I expect that really soon, and anticipate them joining us for the November board meeting to give a report on the audit and what they're submitting. But that's been going really well. Let's see. The August unaudited financials, like I said in the last board meeting, there were some errors that were caught late. So I just have been working with the assistants on those. And so those are in your packet to vote on it with the September ones. For later, there's still some ongoing tax matters that I'm resolving with EDP, but just working with the state and IRS, things take a little longer than you hope. And then human resources, reviewing some changes to the FSA benefits for next year, the flexible spending account, and then also meeting with our insurance providers. We are going to be moving from Pacific Source, is the agency that we've always worked with to provide the flexible spending account option. And I was working with our insurance agents, and in fact, the vendor that we use for the VIVA account, HRA VIVA, now has a flexible spending account option, and it's cheaper and per employee, and also it would be one card, and then it would utilize the flexible spending account funds first, and then if it goes over, then the employees can use their VIVA funds. So it's kind of an all-in-one thing. So that's nice. So working on that. And then just starting to compile information for the upcoming police bargaining union discussions, onboarding and offboarding. Been responding to a few public records requests, and then also conducting the research related to the police-only expansion potentially for Crosswater and Caldera. And then I also posted the part-time SSD executive assistant position, and I think we've gotten 8 or 10 applications already. So I'm encouraged by that to get somebody in, because mine keep getting poached by individuals.
Should be fine for a while.
And so So working on that. Then just some professional development training, working on the nominating committee still to kind of finalize the manual. We have a meeting later this month, I believe, the 27th, to get together to go over that. I've yet to have any nominations come through the website or anything for the nominating committee. So help get the word out if you can about that.
Have a possibility, I'll harass them.
Okay.
When I call, please.
Great. And then I'm also still just kind of working with someone to get some bids for doing some professional photos of the board and the senior staff to have out in the lobby as well. And then I got the joint meeting scheduled. Just a reminder with Deschutes County, that's December 16th. I know we floated around an earlier date, but then one of the county commissioners had something come up, so we had to go with the December 16th date. So I know, John, you'll be out. Sorry, you'll miss that, but it'll be at 1 o'clock.
2 years in a row this has happened.
Sorry.
Accidentally or on purpose?
No, I have. Today, it's happened twice.
It's like hurting.
We can tell you offline which commissioner to blame.
It's all right.
Yes. So other than that, that's my report. If anybody has any questions.
Questions for Administrator Holliday? All right, we're flying. All right, we will turn it over to Chief Booth for the fire report.
Thanks, Chair, board members. You know, it's interesting sitting here and not having Doug in the room.
I know.
He was always here
Yep. Right there.
and, yeah, just makes me sad. But he's with his family. So take a look at the dashboard, calls for service in September, pretty much where we were at last year, in September. Turnout times are pretty equal in that spot. Training hours, we doubled our training hours. We had a lot of training going on in September, keeping the guys busy. You can look through all the different responses. We billed out an ambulance billing 34,000 in the month of September, and then our total calls were about even, which is the first time. It's about 5 more. It's the first time since I've been here. Their calls aren't less than what they were the year before. So we'll see how it trends out for the rest of the year. But so is there any questions on the dashboard from anybody?
I did see one of the, I'm pretty sure it was the 3 was parked out on the tarmac on the south doing some work in the ladder tower. And I was thinking to myself, well, that's pretty brave of him.
Yeah. Administrative update. We did settle the 4-year contract. Like Debbie was saying, we did do cost analysis on the impacts of where we were at dollar wise. We're just going to keep an eye on the personnel costs, and we may have to make some adjustments. I'm hoping we don't. Our overtime is really low right now. We're at 16%. When you take out conflagration, so normally at this time we're about 25%. So I think Mindy will touch on that. So we're at 16% on overtime, which is great because we've trained up our folks to be able to work in the various positions. So we're not having to bring people in on overtime. So keep an eye on that and watch on that. I share concerns like what Debbie said, but we will be able to manage through all of that. I think we're going to be right on spot. So I'm sitting on the OSFM staffing grant committee, evaluation committee. That was a staffing grant that we got this last year. We're re-looking at everything. So there's various fire chiefs throughout the state that are working with Oregon State Fire Marshal on, what's the future of that staffing grant. So hopefully it'll continue. We had our Central Oregon Fire Chiefs meeting. I'm sure you're aware of what's going on in Jefferson County. The current fire chief up there is resigning in November. They were have some serious financial situations going up there. I don't know really what the impacts are going to be. There is some concerns from the chiefs, especially the ones that border matters: Jefferson County, Crooked River Ranch, Redmond, Prineville. What are the implications to them to be able to cover their ambulance service area and all of that? So we'll see how it goes, but they're in a pretty precarious situation up there in Madras right now.
They're not recruiting, are they?
No, they're not recruiting. Yeah. Jim Pfister and I Went to the Deschutes County board meeting last week and recognized Kim Riley for her work with the negotiations. She was dynamite. I don't know if I'll be here for the next negotiation, but I recommend that you have legal from the very beginning. I think you'll get done a lot quicker. But anyways, yeah, it worked out. So as you probably saw, the Newberry Regional Partnership was rewarded with a $3.4 million grant. So that's going to impact the kind of the Lapine area. They're also going to hire a prevention person down in Lapine. So that's good news for South County. I don't know where that will end up, and maybe in the Sun River area. We have no idea, but it's a sizable grant that they got to be able to do mitigation and all of that. Yesterday, Deschutes County kicked off the Deschutes Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. We're really not going to, Chief Russick and I talked about a little bit, none of that. We're not going to be going out for any grants. We're underneath the county anyways. If we decide that we want to go out for a grant for mitigation, we'd have to work with Patty and SROA if that was something that they were interested in doing. But at this point, there's nothing that's really, anything that would be impactful to us. So the only agencies or cities that are participating potentially in grants is Lapine, the city of Lapine, the city of Bend, and the city of Sisters. I think that are going to be going for grants. The other kind of pulled some stats. So yearly for wildfires this year, last year we burnt 1.9 million acres in 2024. This year, 350,000. So quite a bit less than what we burned last year. We had 8 conflagrations. 4 of those were here in Central Oregon. I think I talked about that last meeting. We had 13,000 homes that were threatened in 2025 and only lost 64. So that's pretty good numbers right there. And when we're talking homes, that can be a vast variety of homes. What's considered a home? It can be different. It just depends on the community that you're in. So, and then the total cost for this year's fire season was $15.78 million. I think we were at like $300 million last year. So quite a bit of savings there. So hopefully that'll help with the state funding program that's going on. We all know that ODOT's got issues that they're dealing with. So hopefully that'll free up some dollars on that end. This month, fire season is now officially over. It's on the news and everything. So that's officially over. We're going to be hosting a lithium ion battery class for fire service people in November. We'll host it here, which is great. And then there's natural gas and pipeline emergency responder training down in the Pine next week. We have a couple people that are going down for that. And then October 23rd, next, I think Wednesday is the 23rd. Redmond has to do their annual MCI drill at the airport. So we'll be participating in that. So it's kind of a countywide mass casualty drill. And then we participated in the auto run. It was fun watching the kids.
I love that stuff.
Yeah, we had a blast. It was fun. The kids, they were stoked. It was fun to be out there. Miss Doug out there though. So anyways, Chief and I were hanging out and yeah, it was really cool. He had all the stickers, so the kids really loved it better than they did me. So
Ashley made the mistake of like pulling out stickers right at the front, and it was like almost getting moth fiber, but puppies or something.
Can't show up empty-handed.
yeah, when you pulled the stickers out, oh gosh, they went crazy. Anyways, that's the end of my report. Any questions?
Hopefully, if we're doing any lithium ion fire demos, we're doing them up at the training site and not out here.
Yeah, that's all. Don't worry, we won't be doing it in here.
Any other questions for the chief? I had one other one. Now I'm trying to remember what it was. Okay, I guess we're good. Great, thank you, Chief. We will move on to item 5, report on the quarterly meeting between SSD Chair and SROA President. We actually have these on the calendar. They had not been happening for the last 6 or 9 months. But as Bill took over SROA President, I approached him on, we should talk again. It was a short meeting. We were mostly just understanding the lay of the land and what he wants, any expectations. The one substantial piece that came out of it that will come in front of the board We have our contract for services with SROA, and that's currently in two agreements. There's a rules enforcement agreement and a bike patrol agreement. And we agreed that those two agreements could be combined, and that would result basically in one financial ask that would combine on the two. The SSD took the lead on drafting that agreement. It is, I think it's sitting between us and legal right now is the safe way to say it. But waiting for a response that, that basically says, yes, that's what I meant. And then we will get it over to SROA. So I would imagine in the next couple of months, we will both be discussing that. Yeah, pretty much just two contracts munged into one. So it shouldn't be all that controversial. We'll figure it out. And obviously we need to work on the numbers. We haven't raised that rate in, I think, a year or 15 months or something. So we'll have to figure that out.
The initial rate hasn't been raised many years, but it's just got a 3% increase each year.
Yeah, but we didn't even do the 3% increase last year, I don't think.
No, they didn't.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the big thing that came out. Any additional questions on that?
You meet again?
We did not set a date.
Quarterly?
Yeah, it's quarterly, so it'll probably be February.
Yeah.
And well, actually no,
January.
not January or February, depending on where we go. Bill seems to travel a lot. Lucky guy.
He's gone right now.
Yeah. Did as part of that, or as a side piece of that, I did have a brief conversation with James Lewis, and there might be some conversations that we want to have on a coordinated response on some of the county traffic circle designs. Nothing specific right now, but I think SROA recently had a conversation with county, and they're waiting on a response from county, but that might push us to join in with them.
You're talking about the two in the south end?
Yeah, essentially those two. There are currently 4 traffic circles in the region. First one is at Huntington and South Century. That should be underway now. I think it's kind of very slowly underway. The next one is
Go through there the other day, it wasn't there.
yeah, they're still citing the circle, but the circle is going to be done in that corner because the county actually owns that property, and then they're going to route the road. Then the next one is at Spring River and South Century, and that's the one I think that SROA has the most questions about. There then will be a third one that is proposed, and it's less a traffic circle, it's more a traffic pretzel that they're planning for the business park. And then there is one at South Century and Vanderbilt, also in plan. I'm led to understand there is a 5th one requested. Caldera Crosswater actually passed a request to the county for consideration of a traffic circle at their entrance.
Really?
Yes, but that's not in plan from anything that I've seen. So South County's full of circles.
The issue with the one circles is that they want to put it right behind the houses, and we're trying to make them put it
Right.
to the south more.
Yeah, James and I had some conversations about that, and I think some of it is really proposing because some of the reasoning that the county has is actually for emergency access while they're doing construction, and there might be some things that we could propose that would shift that, give us emergency access, and make it a little more amenable to the SROA property owners. So we're looking at that.
And the big issue for the business park, pretzel, whatever you want to call it, is the bikes and pedestrian crossing. We got to figure out what we're going to do with that.
Yeah, and and that ends up coming back on us. And that was where James and I were having that conversation of, yes, that's not our territory, but depending on which way the bikes fly when the car hits them, it would be our territory.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we want to understand we want to get a better idea of the pedestrian access and how that goes. And there's at least one vote in the room for no tunnel, if I recall. So.
No what?
For no tunnel.
For no tunnel?
Yes.
No tunnel.
You wanted to cross the road?
It'll be a magnet for illicit activity.
Oh.
So we have one vote.
Yeah, that problem.
Anyway, more to come on all of that.
Tough.
Let's move to item 6, election of board officers. In the last meeting, we had single nominations for Director Pfister as chair, for Director Shoemaker as vice chair, and for Director Zook as treasurer. Are there any other nominations that are forthcoming in this meeting?
And Mr. Kelly is the finance committee.
That's true. And we did also select Director Kelly as the chair of the finance committee, or continuing his role as the chair of the finance committee. Sorry, Denny, I thought you were going to skate. I think since there's only one nomination, probably the simplest thing is just to, why don't we propose it as a slate? So, which means that we all can't abstain for our own different things. So that would be Director Pfister as chair, Director Shoemaker as vice chair, Director Zook as treasurer, and Director Kelly as chair of the finance committee. I would entertain a motion for that.
I move.
Yeah, you're the only one. Oh, you'll get yours.
That was a good one.
All right. All right, we have a motion and a second. Randy, I'll actually turn to you at this point as the representative of SROA. Do you have any concerns about that as a slate of officers?
Except for you? No.
Yeah. I mean, I have the same concern, honestly, so. All right, outside of that, I will call for the vote. Director Zook, Director Shoemaker,
Yes.
Director Stevens.
Yes.
Director Kelly. Chair votes yes, motion passes. Thank you all, including Director Stevens, for all the service work that you do for the board. Item 8, we have a resolution in front of us, Resolution 2025, 7. God, I need my pen to check off these things. Discussion 2025 board work session. I will turn it over to Administrator Holliday, who will remind me both of numbers and of dates.
So for the new board members, every year we have usually a morning or afternoon work session, about 4 hours, to go over public meeting rules, different items as an orientation, and it's also a nice refresher for the board members that have been on. And so I would like to tentatively get some days on the schedule, just to see everybody's timeframes. I don't know if the morning of a meeting day would work best, have a lunch break or something, and then do the afternoon meeting, or just a whole separate day. And then also Chief Booth has got an update on kind of the parameters of the meeting that he's been working on with some pieces of it as well. So first would be then to discuss potential date, and if your thoughts on just combining it with a regular meeting date.
Yeah, could we do it the morning of November 20th? Is everybody planning to be here? You got like a fishing trip you're planning on, or?
I might be.
They're still fine.
No.
All right, why don't we just tentatively schedule,
Okay, let's do that.
morning of November 20th. Your chief board chair will probably even authorize that. We'll buy lunch for y'all.
Yeah, right. Okay, great. So I'll start.
As long as it fits within the budget.
Yes. I'll start putting together an agenda, and then I don't know, Chief, do you want to give them an update on your discussions for that board meeting, for that work session?
With WHA.
I just sent an email. I mean, I think if you do annual board training, you get a discount on your insurance. So reach out to our WHA, which is our insurance carrier, and see if they could provide some training for us. But I don't know if they'll be available that day.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't heard back from them. I just sent them the email this morning.
I assume I'm not there for that.
You don't have to be. It's, you may attend at your desire.
You're invited.
I'm hoping, hopefully I'll be skiing.
Yes.
Possible chance.
hope so.
Okay.
No, because then.
Missed the work session.
And I think there's potentially some required, or not required, but some optional SDAO training that helps us with the rates there
Yeah.
as well.
That would be the same. That's the training they put on.
Okay,
So we'll get it put together and and get more information, but if everybody could tentatively hold that morning, that'd be great.
All right, now can I move on to 8?
Yes, sir.
All right. Item 8, we have a resolution in front of us, Resolution 2025-015, approving a title change for the position of police captain to police lieutenant. I will turn it over to Chief Rassick.
As you read through the job duties, there are no material changes to the assignment, the duties, responsibilities. It's simply really a change almost in just name only. I think that calling it a lieutenant better aligns with a department our size and our structure. I think that we're better served by a working administrator, and 2, I believe it also kind of better adheres to kind of what an industry standard is for rank structure.
The thought process when we moved from lieutenant to captain was that there might be some availability of DPSST executive training that we could avail ourselves of. The question would be, is there still any reason for that? And have we, in the past couple of years when we've had a captain, availed ourselves of any of that executive training?
You know what, I would have to actually look into the qualifications to get to that training. I am familiar with the managerial training, which would be a requirement of this position, but I don't know that being the rank of lieutenant would exclude anybody from that executive training. I would need to look into it.
Yeah, but I think the other question is, have we actually done any of that training? And to my knowledge, the answer is no. So, I mean, even if it's there, we're not doing it. So, additional questions for the chief on the potential move?
I don't think there'd be any impact for them,
Okay.
so.
If there's no additional questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I would just to approve it, but there was just some typo error in there. I need the fixing of that.
So it would be moved to approve the resolution pending changes.
Pending, yeah, minor changes.
Okay, we'll consider that a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Kent got it. We got a motion. We got to make.
Right.
It becomes a contest.
I know, right?
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Zook?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens?
Yes.
Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes. Once the resolution is fixed, I will sign it.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Again, we continue to fly. So we will move to item 9. We have August and September financials. The August financials were not ready this last month, if you recall, and so we have both of them in front of us and in our packets. So I'll turn it over to Administrator Holliday to give us the summary.
Right. Yes. So last August, there was just a few items that were incorrectly labeled. As we moved quite a few items from the respective departments under the SSD budget that are building base, we just run into a few snags every once in a while because it's maybe automatically already put to that old account and we just miss it. So there was just a few items, like I said, that I work with both executive assistants on. So we cleared up for the August financials. And like I do every month, I highlight any items that are above the percentage of the fiscal year that we're currently in. I don't think we reviewed the financials last month as a whole. So I don't think there's a lot of huge changes. Most of the changes were just moving it because there's no building R&M for fire anymore. It's for SSD. So just moving it from that GL to the SSD GL. And, so it didn't really change the bottom line much for August.
Why don't we close on August motion with that and then we can move to September.
After that.
All right. So any questions on August financials that were not addressed last month? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the unaudited August financials.
Approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Zook?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens? Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion passes. All right, let's move on to September.
So for September, so that would put us through our first quarter of the fiscal year, so at 25%. And so you'll see the receivables in the next month or two. We'll really start to see the property tax come through. But as you can see already, we've received about a third of what we budgeted for the conflag. But I also did include as a secondary document in your packet a breakdown of the conflag reimbursements. So it looks like, we budgeted about 85,000 and right now it looks like we're set to receive about $111,000 worth of reimbursement on that. So that
Budget line item that we like going over on.
yes, very much so. And then let's see, and then the bike patrol charges and the SRA contracts, they're really good about paying those right away. So the revenue line, that's where you want to see the high percentage of budget. If you flip over to the second page, that's the expenditures, and first up is the police department. And you'll see that overall for the police department salaries and the police department benefits, well below budget of that 25%. Just a few that are just to take over. The administrative executive assistant, we talked about that last month, and that's just because we had 2 people in that role at one time to train. If you go down to materials and services, contracts, that's just because a lot of them come up in July for a year. Vehicle R&M, there's been some work done, PD on vehicle R&M.
We had some unexpected costs to repair some windshields,
So,
3 of them.
yes. And then public education supplies was a little higher, but that's where most of National Night Out, and we're already getting supplies for some of the events it'll last us for most of the year.
National Night Out, 4th of July, and
4th
the
of July.
summer events, we hit those pretty hard this time of year.
And then uniforms is a little high because we hired a few people this summer, and so just getting them ready for the year. But as you can see, materials and services is just at about 27% of budget. So right on track there. The next page is the fire department expenses. You'll see that the overtime right now is a total of 94,000, but in that breakout that I did, I show how much of that 94,000 is for conflagration fires and how much is just regular OT per the CBA. And if you take that regular amount, because we get reimbursed for the conflagration, if you take that regular amount and divide it out by the budget, we're only at about 16% of budget for overtime. So well under budget right now for overtime.
And I think we talked about next year about splitting out that GL so that we could track both.
Right, and so I was thinking that, but then now, because it's easier when Chief Boos and Bjorvik are on fires because they're salary, right? So it's instantly like, okay, we can just charge overtime to that GL. But then now that we had staff out on the flat fire, it's hard because they have overtime from the flat fire and then they have overtime for just regular overtime, and it gets kind of sticky to which overtime hours get charged to that GL and which are just the regular GL. So it's a little bit more to divide those ones out, whereas the chiefs are a little easier.
As long as we can track it in some way.
Yep.
If the spreadsheet works, if the spreadsheet works for the rest of the board, we can keep it that way.
And then, let's see, fire department, materials and services, vehicle R&M, we talked about that last month that Rod's truck needed some stuff in June and it happened in July, so it spilled over in this fiscal year that it wasn't really budgeted for. Printing and binding, they were making some items that they needed for some of the vehicles, so that's kind of just a one-time cost. And then the special supplies in the office supplies, I don't know, that's a little over. I didn't know, Chief, did you have a chance to?
I did talk to Heather about that.
Okay. But overall, you'll see at the bottom for, oh, that's my page, I'm sorry. For the fire department, well below budget, only at 16% for materials and services. Moving over to bike patrol, like we have mentioned, that goes over 2 fiscal years. So we did have a lot of bike patrol. It was a lot of, it was great for the summer. So we're sitting at about 71%. So that leaves about 30%, but the shorter half of the fiscal year is coming up. So it's only usually like a week in May and then June.
Yeah.
So that should be plenty, but we'll keep an eye on it for next year. And then administration, just to look at, you'll see that there's some salary savings there for the executive assistant, so I'm hoping to get that position hired soon. But then just a couple of the benefits, FICA, Medicare, that are up a little higher than expected. Legal, that's up a little higher because they requested that contract increase a little after we'd already sent through the budget, but it should be fine considering savings in other categories. Let's see. Most of the other categories are pretty minimal, but education and training, I've signed up for quite a few professional development opportunities there. But then some of the joint accounts that we changed from fire and police to the SSD account, keep in mind that's the first year that it's been one account. So we did our best taking the last couple of years worth of data to try to figure that out. But you'll see the copier charges is coming in a little higher than we expected, but it's also not a huge budget line. So if it's a little higher, it's only a $3,000 budget. So it makes it look like it's a lot more than it actually is. But electricity, that one's coming in a little higher. But overall, the admin, materials and services is under budget. So
A note or a comment really, Mindy. I know legal's a little higher, and I just want to comment that I think it's the best money we spent.
100%.
Like 2 years.
Yes.
To be honest with you. I think Bill would agree with that for sure. And yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, so that was a great thing. I just wanted to comment.
It was commented to me that they'll probably bump it up again a little bit for next year, and it's still going to be the best money we ever spend.
Yeah, I mean, and it's still cheaper than.
100, yep.
We're
And it's also, there's some other hidden savings too. I mean, for instance, beforehand, if we had a question, and you reach out to legal, that's a minimum an hour
Yep.
charge. Whereas now it's like, let's just throw it to legal real quick to make sure we're doing things right. And so it's just, there's an added benefit to the district as well from a liability standpoint. Okay, so 716, fire department, they got their equipment that they allocated for the capital account. The truck, we're kind of working through that, and so you'll probably see more movement in the financials for the fire equipment. And then the police side, did you guys purchase the suppressors or?
They have been ordered, yes.
They've been ordered. So we could see some more movement in the 716 account. And once again, those are all pre-approved by the board, and I'll just be verifying that, that the amounts are coming in either at that budgeted amount or below. And then 717, this is where, I have some concern just because there's only so much budgeted in between a small amount of items. And so, for instance, design and professional services, it's only 5,000 in there, and then project administration. So that's where Doug's funds come from. There was only 14,000, and we're already almost at 12. And then with today's cost of 5,500, that's putting that line item over. And so we budget, the resolution is based on funds. So of course, there's still plenty of money within that fund, but we were pretty meticulous about what we were using that other money for as far as construction. And so I just want to really make sure that we're not overspending certain line items when we know we're going to overspend them. That's not best practice. And so
Yes, I mean, I think we've communicated, well, I don't think, I know that we have communicated to them that we need a better estimate of when especially Kirby's going to close out, because I think at that point, we're going to probably pull a lot more of this internal. But we just need a good understanding of that in the hours that he's going to do for the next couple of months so that we can close that out and get that done in the budget adjustment.
right, because when we get that bill from Kirby, that's not in the budget. And so we would have.
We assumed it would be last year and it pushed. So yeah, that's going to be another budget adjustment.
So that I would just like to do it all at once and as much as we can and as soon as possible, so we're not overspending. But so far, that budget is well within. There hasn't been that many bills coming through, so there's plenty of funds there. And then down below, you can just see the category summaries for 715. Overall, the totals show the 22% for the fund, so below where we need to be, so that's good to see. 716, it's kind of hard. The year-to-date percentages don't really work because it's just one-time costs that have been approved. And then 717, there's not been a ton of activity from the construction side as far as financials, so it's still well under budget. Any questions? I know it's a lot.
Any questions for Administrator Holliday on our September finances? If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the September 2025 unaudited financials.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. Director Zook?
Yes.
Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens? Director Kelly?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes. And on to item 10, review of the September 2025 SROA board meeting.
I'll keep it short as usual. First, the chair and the chief came to the board and presented the proposal about their expanding their police service. And heard no comments either direction, negative, so we'll see what the Sun River people think about that. Sun River was received its 45th consecutive year as a Tree City USA Award.
Yay.
Some of you guys we're talking about doing a board retreat first quarter of next year. Training on stuff, and we're working on that. Our budget as of the end of August, we had a net surplus of 167 plus K, which is almost 100,000 better than we budgeted. So we're doing really well financially, knock on wood. The Natural Resource Department, we're doing a lot of reduction in trees that you've seen all over. So that's a good thing for our fire things. Also sent out second notice of violations and citations for people who are not doing the ladder fill reduction on their property. We're up to date. The public works people are up to date for the first time this year on the shipping of ladder fuels.
It was a light fire season, so all those crews can actually come back and do
Yeah.
production.
We have a new recreation director. Scott Reese sounds like a pretty good guy. He was already in the staff already, so he just moved up. I'm gonna have to replace him. I'm sure you're all aware about the proposed pathway between circles 2 and 3. That's moving forward. We're getting the property, the access, and the resorts working with us on that. Going to be, I think I wrote that down. Not going to be cheap. I didn't put the number down, what they had, it was like $1 million. You remember how much it was? 2 million, 2 million.
That's
Different.
That's a big difference.
that's still less than I would have thought.
thinking
Yeah.
2.3.
Yeah, but they've been talking about doing this back as far as 1987, and my comment is, I wish we'd done it in 87, would have been a lot cheaper.
It, one of Hugh's things when he was leaving in his last year, he said, I want to figure out the circle 2 to 3 thing.
Yeah.
It took an additional.
We're finally getting there. Yeah, I mean, it's mostly a safety issue.
It's a significant safety issue when,
I mean, we're gonna just change, there's gonna be the issue with the golf carts and the bikes now, but that's less of an issue than with people riding bikes with trucks coming over there.
yeah.
We had a pathway safety task force, which you guys were involved with, and we're implementing that. We started a rules and regulations group. They're going to rewrite all of our rules and regulations, including the rules for pathways. Oh yeah, there was 2 million. I knew it was in 2 different places. And that's it.
Again, here, you know, is the plan to do its own.
Yeah, and the next one they're gonna do is the one out towards, the nature center.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's.
Oh, that goes into the road there.
Yeah. They're gonna add one there.
That'll be fun to figure out how to route that.
That's the issue with that one is there's not an alternative route to get out to the,
To Bone Eagle.
What's the status of your transfer fee discussion?
We're discussing that this week. We've had a lot of feedback.
We will discuss how to discuss it.
Yes.
We'll see how that goes. We're putting the verbiage together to try to move it forward.
I did note that there was citizen input actually in favor of advanced e-bikes.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes, yeah. Speaking, did you guys hear, I saw in the news, Crooked River Ranch is gonna start allowing ATVs on the roads?
Oh,
They're having the debate about it. Which wouldn't make sense here because we don't have access to go out and ride out, but they do out in public lands where they can ride their ATV.
If we allowed ATVs on the roads, we'd have ATVs on the roads
I know.
over the bridge.
Yes. We don't want to go there, but I just saw it in the news the other day and
Yeah. And maybe it's, and it might be a question for the chief as well. Have we gotten any complaints or have there been any issues with TDS? They've been along some of the main roads these days, moving some of the fiber conduit.
Right.
I haven't heard of any issues,
But
but
in the trucks, I have not received any complaints.
I haven't heard anything.
that's good.
We're all waiting for it to get hooked up though.
Everybody's anxious. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
How far along is that? Because I assume that because they started at the north end and now they're moving.
Started south.
South, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
They were at the north.
I'm up in the store and they've done all the preliminary work, but they haven't done the hook to the house. But one of my neighbors just a block over has got the whole hookup done. He's just now waiting for the financial changes where they're gonna be able to get rid of the phone and the TV and just go internet only. And then the money, we owners are gonna pay SROA instead of paying TDS.
A lot of the early work is literally just PVC, and then later they blow the fiber lines.
Some houses had the PVC already and some didn't for whatever reason.
I was happy to see the new little TDS box out there, brand new ones they're putting out.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I haven't got that
I
far.
haven't run it to the house yet.
Yeah. No.
And no, I don't need to ask that one. Additional questions for Director Snyder on SROA report? All right, is there any other business to come to the district for the good of the order?
Got one.
Go ahead.
Mindy, remember I asked about,
oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
that's all right, and I'm not the only, you guys are all computer, and I can do computer too, but for SROA, we get a book with all the report instead of having to, like, I've been printing them out myself because I have to go back and report over there. Be nice to have binders instead of just on computer. And I don't know if anybody else is interested in that or not. If I'm the only one, then don't do it. But if everybody else is interested, or most of us, that'd be different.
Well, let's go this way. I don't have any, copier fees being overrated. Anybody wants a paper copy, if you want a paper copy and.
Make it optional.
Yeah, make it optional. So if you want a paper copy, then let Minnie know and you can. See, I knew that was going to come. I was going to say, don't all raise your hands at once, Denny. Just let Minnie know and you could do that. You could either say in perpetuity, or if you're traveling or something and you're worried about connectivity, you could always request it for the month. That's a good idea, actually. Thank you.
Sorry for.
I want to make sure we are all prepared as we come into the meeting.
Okay.
All right, additional business? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I moved to adjourn.
I was going to say, everybody's so excited, we were just going to keep talking.
So soon.
Baseball game.
Like a record.
Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Director Zook? Yep. Director Shoemaker?
Yes.
Director Stevens?
Yes.
Director Kelly? Yes. Chair votes yes, motion passes. We are adjourned.